On today's video, we take a look at some cards you should be watching. Hi everyone, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy this content today. I hope you find it fascinating just like I do. And of course, for all my regular viewers out there, welcome back everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in. So today we're going to take a look at some cards that have had a little bit of movement, but also that movement does not have to be up. It can be down because some people are looking for cards on the dip. So let's take a look at some fascinating cards in the reserve list and let's see how they're doing. Card number 1 is Spiritual Sanctuary. Now, the cheapest I could find this card in Canada was $55 Canadian, and that was for a lightly played copy. The average is €52.24. The market says €44.20, and of course, it's €45. Now, when I looked at this card, I could find copies on eBay, especially the Italian copies. A few of the platforms had it. Locally, there was none available. I really just love the art on the card. I like the stuff that Amy Weber has done in the past. But when I see this card now, I look at it and go, wow, I remember this card just being amazing when I was a young man. I look at it now and said, just gaining a life, and that's it, huh? Forecasting cost enchantment, and that's all she does. So not the best card on this list, but it is a card that has had quite a large dip. So people who might be trying to collect a very near mint copy for their collections in Legends, this might be the card for you. And of course, guys, please remember I'm not a financial advisor. This video is purely for entertainment purposes only. Drop a Honey from Arabian Nights is up next. $930 Canadian for a moderately played. You see the average there says $922, the market's $840, and €602. You can take this bad boy home with you. Now, Arabian Nights has a very small print run. Don't forget that, everyone. Cards like this are gonna be just hard to get in the future. If this is a card you're trying to seek out, it really doesn't drop low very often. You can see it's had some dips here or there, but it's never dropped significantly over the years since its original rise to fame. So you can find a cheap alternative if you just want a card to play with. You can use Prophesary Nose or other alternative cards, but when you're looking at the original, the OG version, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg to get it, so please be aware of that. It is a pricey card to have. Let's go on to our next card. That's right, we're going back to 1994 Legends. Hellfire is up. It is $200 Canadian for a moderately played copy. The average is $199.99, which is basically $200 US. 184 says the market. €169 will get you this bad boy. The Italian copies are a lot cheaper. You can find those for $60-70, and they've had a lot more sales, as we've been talking about on the channel for a little while. You can see this card really can do a great world-ending event when you have to clear that battlefield. Destroying all non-black creatures can mess people up in a black deck because you can keep yours and all theirs are gone. Remember though, you're going to take damage using a card like this. Original Legends cards like this in good condition are hard to find. This card will continue to see a rise in value. It has a loyal following of people who like this type of card. So remember, it has playability, lots of fun, and it's going to rise in the future. It is dipping down a little bit. I expect it to go a little bit lower, and maybe then for those who are looking for a copy for a collection or for a deck, you might be able to grab one. Let's take a look at the next card. Energy Storm from Ice Age is up next at $7 Canadian. The average is $6.38. The market is $5, and of course, it's €4, basically €5 if you want to round that up. But you can see it has a decent casting cost. The cumulative upkeep can kill it. But remember, cards like this are a little bit funky. You never know what Wizards is going to do to break. Use cumulative upkeep. They may bring it back as a mechanic and have better ways of dealing with the costs. But having damage done by instant sorceries and interrupts going to 0 is very nice. Creatures with flyings do not untap. You can see this card has multiple effects that can make it a useful card in Commander, especially if you can bounce it back every turn. Energy Storm is a card to keep an eye on. It's been as high as $10, $11, but it's really sunk down lately. If you're a person who wants to get a couple of copies for the future on this little bit of a buy dip, or somebody who's looking for a near mint copy for an Ice Age collection, good time to grab it. Great card, a lot of fun. Ali from Cairo. That's right, another Arabian Nights favorite. One of my original all-time awesome cards. I mean, not going below 1 life, put a Spectral Cloak on it, Illusionary Mask to hide what the card was, and you had a blast back in the day. $550 Canadian for a heavily played copy. You'll be looking upwards of $1,000 for a near mint. You can see that the average is $852. The market says $336 and it's €412. This is a pricey card to get, but there are people trying to complete Arabian Nights collections, myself included. This is a card you gotta have. I'm lucky enough to have mine already. And you can see it has a little bit of resurgence in the sense that had a spike there. Ignore that spike. This card is going to continue to rise just because of the scarcity of trying to get this card. But I'm not saying that you can't find a heavily played copy for a lot less money, or maybe use alternative cards like Fortune Thief, which cost you next to nothing to buy in comparison if you just want a playable version of this card. If you're having it for a collection or because you love the artwork, remember you're going to be paying a lot of money to get it. Okay guys, let's check out our next card today. And that is Chaos Sphere from Mirage. It's only $12 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $9 US. The market says $7.99, and it's basically €5. This card had a bit of a buyout around the 2020 mark. I remember seeing it sell quite a lot, and then it really slowed down. Now, a 3 casting cost Enchant World, which means, you know, it's a fun card to have out because it does something crazy. Creatures with flying cannot block creatures without flying. Creatures without flying can block creatures with flying. It reverses things. It can be a lot of fun and craziness you want to add to a commander deck just to see what people say when they see that thing hitting the board. Can be worth the cost of a couple of dollars. Chaos Sphere is a fun card. I wouldn't call it a game-ending card unless you can find a way of manipulating it, but it has had quite a few sales lately, so it's a card to keep an eye on. All right, guys, Chaos Sphere it is. Let's go check out our next card. Telum Tours Edict. Shop smart, shop S-smart. This thing only costs 1 red, and it's an instant. Remove from the game target permanent you own or control. Building a deck around this where you just gain control of somebody's creature and then sacking it to draw cards is a lot of fun. It only costs $5.60 Canadian for a moderately played copy. The average is $5, the market is $5, and it's €2.40. This card is an oldie, it's a goodie, it's a fun thing to have around. It is not an extremely valuable card. The price has been dipping down. The sales on it are slow. Nothing is saying you have to buy this card or draw you in, or no killer decks being built with it. But the idea of it, I like. Wizards bring stuff like this back sometimes in different variants and variations. I just thought I would mention it today as a fun card. Let's go check out the next one. All right, I like this one a lot. Next up is Shimmer from Mirage. $9.60 Canadian. $9 is the average. The market is $8.91, and €8 will get you this card. Again, this card's had a bit of a buyout before. It has risen and fallen, but Shimmer's a fairly decent card in the way it's an enchantment. 2 blue, 2 other. The fact you can play Shimmer and you choose a land type and the lands of that type phase can be just mind-numbing on somebody who's playing in a completely opposite color, or you're playing in a commander deck that just messes up all kinds of other players. It is a lot of excitement and fun in a bottle, and it's reserve list, and it's under $10. I gotta say, it's a decent card. Let's go on to our next card. Erborg Justice from Weatherlight. This card is only $10 Canadian. The average is $10. The market is $10.45, and it's €8 to get this card. Now, Erborg Justice is a lot of fun. It's when you block a whole bunch of somebody's creatures, you let all your stuff die, it all goes to the graveyard, and then you play this card because it's an instant. Target opponent chooses and buries a number of creatures he or she controls equal to the number of creatures that went to the graveyard from play so far this turn. Now, the idea of using this in Commander and all kinds of other ways can make this card a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed the artwork, the idea of like a last battle, a last stand of good versus evil, and the fact of what this card does to equalize things in the end is just awesome. Now, again, not a very expensive card, pretty reasonable to get it. It's from Weatherlight, it's reserve list. I can see why a lot of people have been buying it lately. I want to see if that dip goes up the next couple of weeks. Fun card to have, guys. I can't help myself. All right, our next card is going to be Thrall Champion. Now, this card has had a massive fall, which I enjoy. You look at this card from Fallen Empires, you realize how Thralls were back in the day, and you look at it and say they tried to put it all in one set. They tried to put all kinds of Thrall support back in the day. I always hope, and you guys know, I hope they come up with a tribal Thrall and bring it back. So, as a reserve list card, this card is $7.80 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $4.77 US, the market is $4.41, and it's €3.19. I look at it, seeing it now around that $5 mark, and I realize this card will take a lot to buy it out. There's a lot of copies out there, and there's a lot of people who don't care about it. But you never know, because all Thralls get the +1/+1, and gaining control of Thralls can be a lot of fun. but it would have to have a massive resurgence to really make this card go anywhere. Fallen Empires, guys, come on, realize what we're talking about. But the idea of people wanting to complete collections, going for near mint copies of Thrall Champion, I can see how some people might find that very appealing. As I've shown in some of the other videos we've done lately, buying out cards like this in near mint condition can really add up to value down the road. It's something to keep an eye out for if you're getting into reserve list collecting. Even low-end reserve list cards, go for near mint. Go for the cards that could have value later on as collectors and people try to slab copies. It's something to be paying attention to at least. All right, everyone, we have our last card coming up. Are you prepared for the insanity that's about to happen? Let's take a look. Soldevi Excavations, that's right, the experiment continues, and I've noticed a little more buzz on other channels as people have emailed me saying, hey, it was mentioned on this channel, it's mentioned on this channel. It's very curious, right? The supply in this card is a lot lower than I anticipated. I will continue to buy 4 copies as I said I would until it gets over the $50 mark and I can't afford to buy anymore. But it is fascinating to watch the change in a market based on a card that has been targeted and announced that the targeting was happening. I didn't hide that I'm doing it. I told people I was going to do it. Now I'll be very curious to see what other results happen as this experiment continues. Remember though, if you're trying to buy this card, guys, this card can go to 0. It can go very low. It was not a tier 1 reserve list card before the experiment. It's probably not going to be one afterwards. It does see some play in Commander, which I personally use it in, and I've always enjoyed the card. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys have got some great comments for me in the comment section. And if you made it to the end of the video, put a boomstick in there for me. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. This is MTG Moxman. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Soldevi Excavations, who knew? Who knew? Hey guys, a big shout out to all my patrons out there. Thanks again for the continued support on the channel as we do some crazy, wacky things. My patrons are the best, and that's why I respect you all. Patrons for life. Thanks again, everyone. I'll see you guys soon. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the end of the video here. I'm glad you made it to the end credits. The scariness that happens in this little box room that I live in. I feel like it's caving in on me sometimes. It's so tiny. It is crazy. Everyone, thanks a lot for tuning in to the end of these videos. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. You're special people. And you know what? It's the way it's going to be. And maybe there's a surprise for Saturday. Maybe there's a surprise on Saturday. So stay tuned.